If you've ever come across competitors' ads for botox on Meta, Facebook, and Instagram at $5-6 per unit, the first time you will have seen one, you probably just brushed it off, right? It didn't even register. But by the time you see the second, the third one, you're left kind of dead in your tracks, wondering how the hell do they put it off and how is this making any business sense whatsoever? I know this because we speak to 6, 7, 8 medspas every single day for the last 2 years, and we've heard it so many times it's not even funny anymore. And so we did digging, and we always kept a curious mind and try to figure out how, if this makes any sense at all. And go figure, it actually does. Now, I'm not saying there aren't people there that are using disingenuous tactics like using non-FDA approved stuff from Korea, or diluting their stuff, or God knows what else they do, using stock bottles, etc. I'm not saying that you should ever recourse to those tactics. In fact, you should definitely stay away from that, because there are ways, there is a reality in which this is completely making business sense. And let me break it down to you very quickly. The way the established med spas are pulling this off is because they're confident on their selling abilities, and they know that they can retain clients for a very long period of time. Between upsells, order bumps, cross-sells, they are basically increasing the average order value, so how much a client pays on that first visit, as well as their lifetime value, so how long they stay with the brand. So picture this: if you bring a client in for a botox special for $90, $190, $200, and they end up staying with you for 2-3 years, during that time they will have as well spent $4,000 or $5,000 with you. And so it absolutely makes sense to get them in with maybe a tiny loss just to penetrate the market, to undercut your competitors, and just get a nice layer of, predictable, recurrent clients coming in every single day. And so the question is, how do you, as a new med spa, nurse, esthetician, injector, solo practitioner, can pull this off without risking the house, without, giving away the farm? Because you may not be as confident in your sales abilities, and until you are, you shouldn't put yourself at risk. And the good news is that you don't have to. There are 3 avenues that you can go, and one is sales, one is marketing, and one is business. So it could be a business problem, and we're going to start with this. For example, let's look at how much you're paying your service providers, your injectors. If you're paying them $70, $80 an hour, that may be your first problem. You can get away with paying interns, aspiring injectors, $15, $25 at the beginning. And the reason for that is that you're going to churn some of them anyway. And especially when you're trying to optimize for figuring out your sales and your marketing, you really don't want to be bleeding cash on your provider unless you're 100% sure that their abilities to inject are unparalleled, and also their abilities to sell and upsell. By the time you pay that premium, they should know how to upsell. And when I say upsell, I mean they should know how to do discover people's pain points, inquire, and ask them the follow-up questions. The whole "would you like some fries" with that kind of mentality. You have to not leave any stone unturned in order to be able to justify paying your injector that much. Otherwise, lower that rate. The second one, this one is really, really juicy, is you may have heard of Letibo, one of the brand new neurotoxins. It's not that new, but it's just been FDA approved last year. And more med spas are jumping on that, and they're using it, and it is way cheaper than Allergan stuff, okay? You don't actually have to use Botox for every single one of your patients. You can use it for the ones who know what it is and they expect it. But equally, you probably are already using Zoom-In, Dysport. If you aren't, then start. I know it's not like for like, because you may need as many as 3 units instead of 1. That's completely fine. It's still lower cost, so you can shave off a bit of margin there as well. And you need to, because you have to pay for your advertising, and you have to pay for potentially your marketing agency if you're not doing it in-house. Although I certainly advocate that you should start and try and figure it out in-house first, so that you can preserve some margin there as well. And then, of course, lower the rate of your injector. So all of this is basically unit economics. The unit economics of how do you sell an extra unit without breaking the bank, without basically making a loss. The aim here is not to make money. It's not to get rich on that first visit. It's to break even, to self-liquidate patient acquisition, so that you and all the other providers working in your med spa can get as many reps, as many shots on target at figuring out the sales, the upsells, and the order bumps. And that's what we're going into next. So when it comes to the sales process, this really interweaves with marketing, which is why I think I'm going to attack these two. I'm going to tackle them together. So with marketing, whenever people are advertising a unit cost in their ads on Meta, on Facebook, they're essentially kind of shooting themselves in the foot, because with that price, they're attracting only discount hunters, and they're attracting people who are educated enough to know what Botox is, to know what the price of it is, and to recognize this as a good deal. It's going to be hard to get those people out from that place. You can 100% do it with memberships that are absolute no-brainers, where the amount of value they're going to get is going to far offset their desire to hop to another med spa when they are running a discount, right? So if someone comes in for a $10 cost per unit as opposed to $14 cost per unit, and then you lock them in that rate for 200 units, say they buy a bank, they pre-buy a bank of 200 units, but on top of that, they also get a free facial every 3 months. They also get laser hair removal for a whole year. Then you can absolutely sell them the full unit price of $15. The key to pull that off is to consult them properly, because you have to find what are the pain points they have and tailor that package to those needs. That is the crucial piece there. I mean, think of it this way. If they have a small area on their face that they're looking to get laser hair removed, then that's going to essentially cost your business $200, $300 to fulfill. In terms of revenue, it's probably more like $600, $700, but it essentially allows you to bump your order to $15 per unit, sell those $200 units at that full price point, and essentially make sure that you retain your customer for Botox. And the other thing is that this client, they're going to come back for a whole year, every 3-4 months. Their behavior changes, their desires and needs change. They can be seasonal as well. By the time winter comes around, they might want to tackle their double chin, their turkey necks, their saggy jowls. Any other services that you have can absolutely find a place and time to cross-sell as well. If they're not in a buying mood now, if they don't have the spending power now, that doesn't matter. They might come across some money. They'll get a gift for their birthday 4 months down the line, and then that lifetime value is going to increase. So you have to think a bit more medium to long term on this thing, not just like immediate quick cash grab, because it doesn't make sense always. It does sometimes in some areas where you just hang a shingle and people flock in, but in others where you're facing fierce competition, you have to be strategic. There used to be a saying, the one who can afford to pay the most to acquire a client wins. I think that still holds very much true. And with that being said, let's also go back to the marketing and so the sales as well. One thing that you can do is order bumping. Order bumping is basically anything that 50% or 100% increases the order of what they came in for to begin with. Say they come in for $200, 20 units of Botox, and they end up buying another 5 or 10. That's an order bump. If they buy another 20 units, that's an order bump. But upsells should only be categorized as anything that's 1K plus, 1,500, 2K ideally. What do I mean by that? Sculptra, radius, high ticket injectables, filler facial rebalancing. Those are really the actual upsells. You can call them cross-sells, you can call them upsells, call them whatever you like, but the idea here is that they should be generating asymmetric returns, meaning a 10x return on ad spend. Otherwise, they're just a tiny order bump, and that's still fine because that's still giving you a bit more margin in case you want to continue to keep your esthetician that's paid $60, $70, $80 an hour or whatever you pay them, in case you don't want to always go down to Latibo. So that's basically allowing you to get away with murder, like I said earlier. And now finally, the last piece that I wanted to bring up here is that you can absolutely use assistants to increase your upsells rates. So if your esthetician is not really comfortable in discovering, you should use something like Aura or Vision to essentially diagnose and x-ray your client's face. I'm not sure if you've ever seen any of these breakdowns. They're really wonderful. They show you their hyperpigmentation, dark spots, any kind of like discoloration, the superficial layer, as well as the deeply seated issues such as the wrinkles, the fine lines, the sagginess, the laxity. And so with this detailed report, you can essentially show people, not tell. You can show them where the problems are and find out exactly what's been giving them grief, so then you can upsell them easier, because discovery is always the key to creating the problem and to create what we call the gap between where they are and where they want to be. The last one that these devices give you is also asymmetries of the face, and that naturally goes into facial rebalancing with filler, which is also a really nice upsell. And ultimately, that's the whole idea of whether you're doing the service, whether you're doing the appointment consultation or another service provider, you have to really be there in the service of your client. My mission is to give you everything that you've come here for and more. I want to figure out what's
keeping you up at night and basically give you the confidence and the right to feel good in your skin again. Sounds fair? So that's really how it's done. That's really all the options that you have. So if you're looking at this, wondering from the sidelines, don't tend to just discard it and throw the baby with the bathwater, because it's really not the case. You can absolutely lean into it and figure out how people do it. If a lot of people do it, it means it makes sense. It means that maybe you're not seeing something. And so with that being said, I hope this video is giving you a bit of an overview. It gives you a bit of clarity and a few ideas on how you can go about building and bolstering your business around facial aesthetics, around injectables, fillers, and the other high ticket stuff. And of course, if you need a trainer and a second opinion on the offers that you're running, on the marketing, on your sales scripts, and hands-on training with your team, then obviously medspapatients.com, we're here for your disposal. And if not, we'll see you in the next video.